Welcome back, persistent hikers, to Glimpses of our California parks. Today, we will visit the High Sierra region of our California parks, encompassing 11 of over 420 diverse public, state, and federal parks and their related units located within our Golden State. This Anza-Borrego Desert State Park video will examine a four-wheel drive desert excursion into the remote areas inaccessible by two-wheel vehicles. Anza-Borrego is a 649,000-acre desert scenic public accessible park maintained by the California State Park System. Located within the greater Colorado Desert, Anza-Borrego lies within San Diego, Imperial, and Riverside counties, surrounding the desert city of Borrego Springs. This park unit was established in 1933 to protect the natural and historical features found within this largest California park boundaries. I began my four-wheel excursion in the early morning with the California Overland Company as my tour guide through the desert backcountry. My driver, Joe, was knowledgeable, friendly, and most important, receptive to my goal of recording as much as I could of the desert landscape in the limited time I had. 5 hours may seem like a long time to ride around in a Jeep photographing sights, but believe me, it went fast. The tour concentrated on the Borrego Badlands area, bordering the Ocotillo Wells State Vehicle Recreation Area. We began our excursion visiting the Clark Dry Lake, a barren lake bed which only comes to life during a short spring rain, when spade-footed toads and 3 varieties of brine shrimp spring to life, mate, and watch their young reach full maturity in as little as 2 weeks before the lake dries up. The lake bed is now protected and open only to foot traffic. A Jeep trail near the man-made World War II platforms allows us to access the area. After Clark Lake, we traveled south towards Fonts Wash, a sandy, rutted road to reach a major highlight, Fonts Point, an overlook offering panoramic views of the Borrego Badlands, a land of golden hills and sand-colored arroyos. Fonts Wash is a 4-mile off-road Jeep trail off the paved S-22, which takes you to Fonts Point. It's a rough road with lots of loose sand and washboard spots. Visitors with two-wheel drive can park outside and hike this wash to the overlook. That's 8 miles out and back. I'll take a Jeep, thank you. From the parking area, a short uphill walk takes you to the overlook. Ready yourself to be inspired and make sure your camera battery is charged. Watch your step. Small pebbles and loose sand make it slippery. The view is breathtaking. The photographic opportunities never ending. The landscape harsh. The millions of years of water erosion mind-boggling. The Anza-Borrego Badlands were formed by multiple phases of erosion and sediment deposition. Fonts Point is nicknamed Southern California's Grand Canyon. On a clear day, you can see the Salton Sea to the east and the San Ysidro Mountains to the west. At sunrise and sunset, the Badlands' wrinkled ridges cast major shadows across the rugged landscape. There are a number of rock types found in the Badlands. The crinkly formations include sandstone, siltstone, mudstone, claystone, limestone, volcanic ash, and shale. Because of the clay and volcanic ash found here, the Badland does not include fertile soil in which plants can survive. The striking geological deposits found inside the Badlands contain one of the world's richest fossil beds. Ancient horses and rhinos once roamed here. From its beginning, almost 500 million years ago, Anza-Borrego has experienced a rich and complex geological history. At Font Point, you can gaze out across the rugged landscape and envision sections of that timeline. Font's Point offers many natural observation points. Obey the park safety rules and don't become part of the landscape. I find it unacceptable that the state can't pave a road to this scenic viewpoint. At least gravel the wash for two-wheel drive travel. No senior is going to hike 8 miles in the desert to see this overlook if they don't have a four-wheel drive vehicle. Is it really asking too much for a state that plans to allocate $28 million in state funds in the next 6 months to house illegal immigrants? Just asking. Then again, our state can't fix the potholes in our main roads. You can't blame the Park Service. They're running on a limited budget as is. Without dedicated rangers and volunteers, half our parks would be closed. One final panoramic view as we bid farewell to Font's Point. After Font's Point, we turn right onto Short Wash, a dirt jeep trail through the rugged backcountry. Here we can view the desert landscape and occasional desert flora while viewing the Santa Rosa Mountains in the distance. Along the way, my guide Joe stopped to show me a small cave inside the hillside that gives one a unique view of the watercarved topography of Anza-Borrego, along with its hidden hideaway. After a bit of a challenging climb, we reach the entrance. Although relatively a short trek uphill to reach the entrance, there is definitely some clambering and hopping over natural obstacles. A fragile feature carved inside the hillside, this small cave offered one a seldom seen view of the desert landscape from the inside looking out. I couldn't help but wonder if any ancient people might have taken temporary shelter here. After one last look around, we hiked back to our Jeep to continue the tour along the Short Wash route. The rugged terrain spoke to the desolate scenery. The barren landscape reminded me of Death Valley National Park. After a short break, we headed north along Palo Verde Wash towards Coach Whip Canyon. This four-wheel drive primitive route, 11 miles long, takes one to the Palo Alto Verde Canyon in the north. A wide dirt track, this Jeep route forms part of the eastern boundary of Anza-Borrego Desert State Park. Relatively flat and mostly a sandy track with some sections of hard-packed dirt and loose rocks, the southern end of this wash crosses into the Ocotillo Wells State Vehicle Recreation Area. This desert park isn't for everyone. Without a four-wheel drive vehicle, you can't access the remote sites. I suggest those of you with two-wheel drive vehicles take a tour or rent a Jeep, even if for only half a day. That's really the best way to experience Anza-Borrego's hidden charm. Although some wash trails may look accessible by car, you can easily get stuck. Trust me, there's no view worth the hassle. They warn you four-wheel drive access for a reason. After we reach S22 and travel east for a short distance, we take the four-wheel drive road exit to Coach Whip Canyon. We travel inside a rocky canyon wash through Truck Haven Rocks area, leading into our destination, Coach Whip Cabin, featuring unique geological formations. We made a short stop so I could photograph some of the tan, rocky formations. I thoroughly enjoyed this part of the tour and the rock formations we found here. Inside the Box Canyon, there is a 2.2-mile canyon hike that starts out easy but then encounters small rocks and then boulders. I didn't take this trail as my time was limited. I did, however, get out and photograph some of the prominent canyon formations. One thing was for sure, this would be a nice spot for a family picnic. Along the roadway into the canyon, you will find a few alcoves ideal for camping, even some tree-shaded spots. This snake-like canyon was either named after the Coach Whip snake, a resident of this arid landscape known for its speed, or the Coach Whip milkweed found throughout the area. I guess you take your pick. I prefer the snake idea over a plant. We took a snack break here while I went and checked out the area on foot. The sun was shining and the temperature nice. I would not want to make this trip in the summertime. I can just imagine how hot it gets back here in these boxed canyons. The indigenous people once lived back in these lands before the Spanish came. My park suggestions to better service seniors: I understand keeping remote sites protected, but a few of your more scenic sites could use a gravel road access for those of us with standard vehicles. For example, Fonts Point Overlook. As to what happened to the indigenous people who lived here, check out my Anza-Borrego Desert State Park two-wheel access GOCP video number 23. Heading out of Coach Whip Canyon, we pass more desert hills on our way back to S22. We travel east on S22 for a short distance, looking for the exit of Aurora Salado Wash. This major off-road dirt thoroughfare inside Anza-Borrego takes us past 17 Palms, our destiny, and then extends into Ocotillo Wells State Vehicle Recreation Area to the east. The Aurora Salado Wash contains one of 8 undeveloped campsites for tent campers inside the Anza-Borrego Desert. We stay on the Aurora Salado Wash for about 3.6 miles, then turn on Tule Wash for 0.2 miles to the 17 Palms parking area. Here we find the largest of the 3 remaining palm oases located in the Anza-Borrego Desert. This well-known watering hole for regional wildlife exists today only because water surfaces here. These few remaining native California fan palms are remnants of an ancient species that grew in the area for millions of years when what is now desert was moist jungle teeming with life. When named in 1889, there were 17 palm trees here. Today, there are 2 separate groupings totaling over 30 palm. A 2-mile loop trail connects the 2 oases, 17 palms and 5 palms. I didn't have time to take the full trail. Also named in 1889, this oasis was made up of 5 fan palms. Now there are only 4. The fan palm's roots are shallow, allowing them to easily access the water. Birds, mice, and other desert creatures make their homes in the thick shelter of the skirts of the old palm fronds. These few remaining oases offered a welcome relief to early pioneers. Leaving the Palm Oasis area, we would soon take the Cut Across Trail, a 4-wheel drive, 8-mile point-to-point, deep sand wash trail containing loose rock, dirt, sand, and some slick rock surfaces. This 4-wheel drive wash provides a major transition through the barren landscape between the Anza-Borrego Desert State Park and the Ocotillo Wells State Vehicle Recreation Area. After traveling a few miles through the scenic desert landscape, we would arrive at our last destination, Hawk Canyon. Hawk Canyon is part of the West Mesa of Borrego Mountain. Once we entered the canyon, the colorful sandstone cliffs and unique rock formation, evidence of an ancient marine environment, began to capture our imagination. This is just a small sampling of over 649,000 acres that makes up Anza-Borrego Desert. One of the more scenic areas in the park, Hawk Canyon contains a 1.7-mile moderately rated hiking trail. Although I didn't get a chance to hike this desert trail, I did get to walk around and take some rocky landscape images of the scenic canyon before our time was up. This canyon also offered a remote camping spot. With our 4-wheel tour time coming to an end, we bid farewell to the Borrego Badlands and give a special thanks to California Overland and my guide Joe for allowing me to experience these remote sites. Don't forget to click the subscribe button to catch the latest park units we visited, along with the special trails we've taken.
Hope you enjoyed this park adventure. Take the time to visit our sponsors and become a monthly donor, assisting us in documenting each of our diverse federal and state California parks. By becoming a member of the Persistent Hikers and wearing our Glimpses patch, you are informing the young generation that we seniors still have the capability, although limited, to enjoy our parks just as much as they can. Until our next California park adventure, happy trails.